somewhere tonight, someone is sending a highly questionable, honestly incredibly risky text to their ex.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Someone else is actively falling for the absolute wrong person.
Like, as we speak?
As we speak. And someone out there right now is just absolutely confusing toxic chemistry with basic common sense. And honestly, babes, that is exactly why we are here.
It is like a literal pandemic of bad decisions out there right now, and we are essentially the frontline workers.
We truly, truly are. So, babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And, babes, more than anything, we are just so glad to have you here on the Snark side.
Always. Pull up a chair, grab a glass, and just get ready to spiral with us.
Because, babes, I have to announce right now, the Raspberry Cosmopolitans are officially on deck.
Finally. I have literally been waiting for this exact aesthetic all week long.
They're gorgeous.
Like, just look at the color of this drink. It's giving danger. It's giving romance. It's giving, I might key your car, but I'll look fabulous doing it.
It really is. And, babes, we need to go ahead and crown berries the official fruit of summer. Because the way we've been throwing berries into absolutely every single drink this season, it's diabolical.
It is completely out of control. Like, I went to the grocery store yesterday, and I completely bypassed the citrus section.
Right. Totally ignored it.
Lemons.
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
Yeah.
Limes.
Yeah.
I literally don't know her. Just give me the massive abundance of raspberries. Give me the blackberries. I want my drink to look like a wildly expensive, slightly bruised jewel,
Yes. Fresh raspberries instantly make everything feel expensive. Like you can drop 3 raspberries into a plastic cup of absolute bottom shelf vodka, and suddenly you are at an exclusive beach club in Mykonos. It is pure alchemy.
It is magic.
Plus, I firmly stand by my personal life philosophy, which is that fruit automatically makes a cocktail healthy.
Oh, here we go.
It's basically a smoothie. It's wellness. We are actively participating in wellness right now.
That is the exact kind of delusion we celebrate on this show. But medically speaking, I really think the 3 ounces of Cointreau totally cancel out the antioxidants.
Wow. Okay, doctor.
For me, the garnish is simply emotional support for the alcohol.
Oh, my God.
So raspberry is just there to hold the vodka's hand and tell it everything is going to be okay before it completely destroys my text history tonight.
See, you're just so analytical about it. But wait, we have to settle a debate right now because I need to know, does the raspberry officially beat the strawberry as the superior summer berry?
Oh, easily.
Because I feel like strawberry had an absolute chokehold on the culture for a really long time. Strawberry daiquiris, strawberry margaritas.
Listen, strawberry is basic.
Wait, really?
Strawberry is the girl who peaked in high school and still talks about prom.
Oh, my God.
It's true. Raspberry's the girl who moved to the city, got a sleek bob, and knows a guy who can get you into, like, exclusive underground speakeasies.
Yeah.
Raspberry has an age.
Okay, the read on strawberries. But you are so right. The tartness is everything. It balances the sugar so well. Because this raspberry Cosmo we are drinking right now, it is dangerously easy to drink.
Lethally easy.
Like, I'm literally 2 sips in, and I'm already considering starting a bitter feud with my neighbor.
Cheers to property line disputes, honestly.
Cheers. Okay, before we get into the absolute chaotic mess that is our main topic today, I have to tell the Snark Squad babes, you have sent in an absolutely unbelievable number of shady, snarky, or stupid submissions this week.
Our inbox is basically just a confessional booth for the unhinged at this point.
It really, really is. And honestly, you beautiful people are unbelievably messy. I am so proud of you, but I'm also, deeply concerned for your local communities.
We're enablers. We just have to accept that about ourselves.
We are. We definitely are. So let's get into it. We are going to read 3 listener-submitted confessions, and as always, we are going to decide whether each one is shady, snarky, or stupid. Are you ready for confession number 1?
Hit me. Let's do this.
Okay, this is from a listener who obviously wants to remain anonymous. They write, I found out my situationship was seeing someone else, so I RSVP'd yes to his family barbecue just to make him explain who I was.
Oh, my God.
I immediately support this chaos. This is brilliant.
Wait, pause. We need to unpack the sheer logistical terror of this move.
It's so aggressive.
A family barbecue. That means there are aunts, there are uncles, there is potato salad involved, and you just arrive completely unannounced to the broader family, forcing this man, who refuses to give you a label, by the way, to introduce you to his mother, while he's literally holding a pair of barbecue tongs.
It is elite. He wanted to play games, right? So, welcome to the main event, buddy.
Literally.
You want to keep me in a situationship box while you're dating around? Cool. I'm going to go eat your dad's brisket and make you sweat completely through your polo shirt. I love this energy so much.
It is elite strategic warfare. It's not just petty, it's psychological domination. Because what is he going to say? Mom, this is, my friend. No, you're standing there holding a macaroni salad and making aggressive eye contact. But I have to ask, is it shady, snarky, or stupid?
I think it's snarky. Like, it's a very pointed, very deliberate statement. It's not behind his back, so it's not really shady.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not stupid because it gets immediate results.
I agree. It's top-tier snark. You have successfully weaponized a summer cookout. I bow to you. Okay, what's confession number 2?
Here we go. My roommate kept stealing my expensive coffee creamer, so I replaced it with plain kefir for a week.
Oh, that is actual biological warfare.
Wait, explain what kefir is again. It's like yogurt, right?
It's basically fermented milk.
Gross.
Yeah. It's incredibly sour, very tangy, and slightly effervescent. Like, it's great for your gut health, but if you pour it into a hot cup of French roast expecting sweet vanilla oat milk, your soul will just leave your body. It will curdle instantly.
Oh, that is vile. But honestly, justice.
You think so?
Yes. Don't touch my stuff. If I spend $9 on an artisanal pistachio macadamia creamer and you are secretly using it for your stupid iced coffees, you deserve the fermented milk.
I'm spiraling over whether this is petty genius or an actual crime. Because on one hand, yes, establish your boundaries, secure the creamer. But on the other hand, you are subjecting this person to a morning beverage that tastes like a sourdough starter mixed with battery acid.
Exactly. So what's the verdict?
I think this is shady.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't confront them. You didn't say, hey, stop stealing my creamer. You went full covert ops and poisoned the well. It's brilliant, but it's the exact definition of shady behavior.
Okay, I'll accept shady, but I also kind of love it.
No.
All right, confession number 3. I accidentally matched with my boss on a dating app, and instead of unmatching, I super liked them out of sheer panic.
No. I am physically cringing.
I am hyperventilating just reading that out loud. Can you imagine the absolute sheer panic?
Your finger slipped.
Right. Your finger slips. And suddenly, Steve from accounting, who literally approves your PTO requests, gets a giant blue star notification that you are aggressively interested in him.
Let's just discuss every possible outcome of this disaster. Outcome A, the boss ignores it, and Monday morning is just an agonizing, silent torture chamber of weird eye contact over the break room coffee machine.
Ugh, the worst.
Or outcome B, the boss matches back. And then what? Do you pivot? Do you lean into it just to secure a promotion?
No, you absolutely cannot sleep your way to a mid-level marketing coordinator title. That is not worth it.
Look, I'm just saying, in this economy, a super bright Righto could be viewed as a strategic investment.
You're terrible.
But seriously, the panic response is just so relatable. You see someone you know, your brain entirely short circuits, and instead of hitting the X, you smash the giant star.
If this happened to me, I would simply throw my phone into a river, fake my own death, and move to a rural farming community in Vermont.
Yeah.
I could never, ever show my face in that office again.
The verdict on this one is very easy. It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's not malicious. It's not sneaky. It's just a pure, unadulterated, panic-induced, stupid mistake.
Completely agree. Stupid. But we love you, and we are definitely praying for your employment status.
Good luck on Monday.
Right. Okay, babes. Speaking of highly questionable decisions, let's get into today's recap.
Please. I need to talk about this before I explode.
So, we are recapping episode 5 of Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, which is officially titled Scamboy. And let me just set the table for you all. We have been spiraling in our group chats all week long.
The fan forums are literally burning to the ground right now.
Everyone is screaming. Because if the first 4 episodes of this show were just about establishing the mystery of Trevor's murder, episode 5 is where the writers literally pick up the Monopoly board and hurl it across the room.
It is a complete genre shift. Yeah. Like, we went from a tense, slightly erotic murder mystery to a full-blown corporate espionage survival horror film in 45 minutes.
Nobody in this episode is thinking clearly.
Nobody. Everyone's prefrontal cortex is completely shut down. Every single choice is driven by panic, grief, or just extreme greed.
Exactly. So let's start right at the beginning, the opening scene. We pick up exactly where we left off last week. Dennis, our terrifying, incredibly handsome, mismatched boot-wearing killer, is standing outside Paula's apartment.
And menacingly.
Very menacingly. Paula's in the shower. She has absolutely no idea she's about to be murdered. And Dennis is razor focused. He's got his tools. He is ready to eliminate the only witness to Trevor's death. And then his phone rings.
And this is the moment the entire trajectory of the show shifts.
Yeah.
Because this isn't an automated spam call. This isn't a telemarketer. The caller ID is a man Dennis refers to as Bree.
Bree.
And the fandom's been debating this nonstop for days.
Yeah.
Is it Brian? Is it Bryce? My absolute favorite Reddit theory is that it stands for Brochacho.
Brochacho. I'm screaming. I would love it if a deadly hitman was reporting to a guy named Brochacho.
Right. But whoever Bree is, he is definitely not calling for a casual catch-up. He's calling on behalf of someone named Cecilia.
The name drop.
And the moment Dennis hears the name Cecilia, his entire demeanor completely changes. Murray Bartlett's acting here is so incredibly subtle but profound. He goes from apex predator to nervous middle management employee in 2 seconds flat.
Yes. Because Cecilia is clearly the final boss, or at least she's way higher up the food chain than Dennis is.
Let's unpack the dialogue here because it's crucial. Bree tells Dennis that Trevor's side hustles, these little fake kidnapping extortion scams he was running on his Scamboy site, have left their entire organization exposed.
Which honestly blew my mind. Up until this exact second, we, along with Paula, totally assumed Dennis was just a scorned lover.
Right, we thought it was personal.
We thought he killed Trevor in this crime of passion because Trevor was cheating on him or using him. But Bree's phone call completely recontextualizes who Dennis is. He's not a passionate boyfriend pushed to the brink. He is a literal fixer. He is an attack dog for a massive, shadowy syndicate.
And the exact phrase Bree uses is terrifying. He orders Dennis to prove that he is still, quote, operating in blue skies.
Ugh, the corporate jargon. It literally makes my skin crawl.
It really does. Operating in blue skies is such a chilling, sterile euphemism for, prove you aren't a massive liability that we need to immediately execute.
Which means Dennis has to instantly abandon his plan to murder Paula, which, let's be honest, he was very excited about.
He was ready to go.
He was.
Okay.
And he has to go prove his loyalty by executing a highly specific white-collar blackmail job instead.
And the pivot is insane. He goes from hovering outside a shower with a deadly weapon to putting on a perfectly tailored suit and intercepting a woman named Joyce Turtek in an elevator at Yale.
We really have to talk about Joyce.
Let's talk about Joyce.
We have to talk about Joyce's blazer, first of all, because it was impeccably structured. I need to know the designer. But Joyce is a Yale admissions counselor who, as Dennis politely informs her, has been actively embezzling university funds.
Which, okay, pause. Let's think about the logistics of this for a second.
Yeah.
How does an admissions counselor even have access to the university's endowment or financial accounts to embezzle money in the first place?
I know, that feels like a massive plot hole.
It really is. But honestly, the scene was so incredibly good, I did not care at all.
I didn't care either because Dennis traps her in this elevator. And he doesn't pull a gun. He doesn't hold a knife to her throat. He just stands there perfectly still with that insane jawline and uses his terrifying, steady charisma to let her know that he has every single receipt.
He has it all.
He has her bank records, he has her emails, and he tells her that if she doesn't admit a specific student, some kid with the ridiculously pretentious name of Blake Vanderbilt, into the upcoming freshman class, he will completely destroy her life.
It is a total masterclass in restrained menace. He is weaponizing information instead of physical violence. And this is what the entire fan base is debating right now. What does this actually mean for Dennis's relationship with Trevor? Because if Dennis is a cold, calculating corporate hitman who blackmails Yale officials on a Tuesday morning, did he ever actually love Trevor? Or was Trevor just a Scamboy asset that the organization was using to gather blackmail material on wealthy clients, and the asset just got out of control?
I have been literally pacing my living room thinking about this because the way Dennis killed Trevor in episode 1, it was so brutal. It was actual butchery. That feels very personal. But this Yale scene proves Dennis is a highly trained professional.
It's a contradiction.
So I really think it's both. I think Dennis is a ruthless corporate hitman and a heartbroken boyfriend. He fell in love with his asset. He literally mixed business with maximum pleasure.
Wow. You literally just named the show.
Thank you.
But you're right. He let his personal feelings completely compromise his professional duties. He turned a blind eye to Trevor's little scams because he loved him. And when Trevor pushed it too far and threatened to expose the whole syndicate, Dennis had to kill the man he loved just to protect his own job.
Yes.
It's kind of tragic in a deeply twisted, psychopathic way.
It's HR corrective action with legal consequences. He's a serial killer with a 401k and a solid dental plan.
Exactly.
But wait, while Dennis is off dealing with the Ivy League mafia, we absolutely must talk about the domestic terrorism happening back in Paula's everyday life. Because, babes, Mallory is officially the most terrifying person on this show.
Let's definitely talk about Mallory and Carl, because the custody battle for little Hazel is just escalating, and Mallory is proving to be a highly effective, incredibly dangerous tactical operative.
Okay, Mallory's plan to fix the family court docket is so bizarre, but so brilliant. Paula has a fairly decent judge, right? And Mallory needs to get the file swapped to a judge who is notorious for favoring fathers. A judge the recap blogs are literally calling the misogynist of the bench.
Yikes.
So how does Mallory, this polished, wealthy new girlfriend, corrupt the legal system? She goes to a dusty local comic book shop.
In a phenomenal cream-colored trench coat, no less.
Yeah.
Which, let's just appreciate the wardrobe department for a second.
Right.
The trench coat was giving Olivia Pope meets covert sabotage. She walks into this nerd sanctuary, points at a glass case, and just casually buys the third most expensive Magic, the Gathering card they own.
It is such a bizarrely specific detail,
Yeah.
because she clearly did her research. She knows the security guard at the family courthouse is obsessed with this specific game. She doesn't bribe him with cash.
Right, cash is messy.
Cash leaves a paper trail. Cash is clumsy. She bribes him with a highly sought-after piece of cardboard.
And it works perfectly. The guard lets her slip right into the assignment room, and she physically swaps Paula and Carl's custody file into the bad judges pile. It's stealthy, it's completely silent.
Flawless execution.
And then the audacity. She goes to a romantic dinner with Carl that exact same night. He gets the notification on his phone about the new judge, he tells her, and she feigns complete joyful surprise. She doesn't even blink, Jay. I mean, she doesn't even blink. She is ice cold.
The contrast between Mallory and Carl in this episode is just staggering, because Mallory is actively, methodically breaking the law to destroy Paula. Meanwhile, Carl is having the absolute worst day of his life in a police interrogation room.
Oh my God, the interrogation scene. Give Jake Johnson the Emmy right now. Give him all the awards. The fans were losing their minds because Jake Johnson's famous Nick Miller persona from New Girl completely bled through here.
It was pure Nick Miller panic. So Detectives Gonzalez and Baxter bring Carl in. Instead of gently asking him questions, they decide to use the shock and awe tactic.
So
They slam these incredibly gruesome, high-definition crime scene photos of Trevor's butchered, bloody body onto the table right in front of Carl's face.
And Carl just completely short-circuits. His brain completely breaks. He starts sweating profusely, and he starts nervously rambling, completely unprompted, about past cocaine use.
The detectives didn't even ask about drugs.
They didn't. And then, the absolute best line of the episode, he goes off on this wild tangent defending Paula, saying she couldn't possibly have chopped up a body because she has, quote, tiny hands.
She has the hands of a Victorian doll.
Yes.
It was incredible comedic relief. But honestly, beneath the comedy, there is a massive character revelation there. Because despite the fact that Carl is in a brutal custody war with Paula, and despite whatever resentment ended their marriage in the first place, he vehemently defends her to the police.
He does.
He doesn't hesitate. He insists she is biologically and psychologically incapable of murder.
Which proves he actually knows her. He sees her humanity, whereas Mallory just sees her as an obstacle to be eradicated. And what really got me is that after Carl leaves the precinct, he goes home to Mallory, and he completely lies by omission.
Yep.
He doesn't tell Mallory he was questioned by the cops at all.
Which brings us to the biggest Reddit conspiracy of the week. What else is Carl hiding? Why keep the police interview a secret from his live-in girlfriend, who is supposedly his teammate in all this?
Everyone is bringing up the Portland incident.
Yes, the Portland incident. Carl told the cops earlier in the season that whatever happened in Portland was, quote, clearly an accident. But we still don't know what it actually is.
I'm psychoanalyzing this so heavily. Is Carl's loyalty to Paula rooted in lingering love? Or is it mutually assured destruction?
Oh,
Like, does Paula know something about Portland that could send Carl to prison? Is he defending her to the cops? Because if she goes down, she's taking him with her.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
But it makes total sense. But look, I have to say this. Everyone is so worried about Dennis. Yes, Dennis is a literal serial killer.
Yeah.
But I really think Mallory is the bigger threat.
Think about it. Dennis is a shark in the ocean. He's deadly, but you have to actually get in the water to get bitten. Mallory is like a silent, odorless poison leaking into Paula's actual house. Paula is running around playing detective, terrified of a man with a knife, but Mallory is quietly stripping away the only thing Paula actually cares about, which is Hazel.
That is a phenomenal read. Dennis threatens Paula's life. Mallory threatens her reason to live. And Paula is entirely distracted by the shark, so she isn't noticing the poison.
Exactly.
Which brings us, tragically, to Paula's absolute disaster of an investigation. Let's talk about the motel trap.
This entire sequence had me screaming at my television. So Paula's lawyer, who is completely useless, by the way, demands a $10,000 retainer to keep fighting Mallory in court. 10 grand that Paula absolutely does not have. The lawyer also tells her she needs character reference letters from her community to prove she's a stable mother.
And this, where the show really starts twisting the knife into Paula's reality.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have a community. Her marriage imploded, her friends picked Carl's side, and she is just completely isolated.
It's so...
She literally has to approach these pristine Lululemon-wearing soccer moms at Hazel's school drop-off and essentially beg them to write legal documents saying she isn't crazy.
The secondhand embarrassment in that scene was lethal. The moms are looking at her like she's holding a live grenade. It's so humiliating for her. And you'd think after that humiliation, Paula would focus on getting a real job or securing that 10 grand.
You would think.
But no, she completely ignores all common sense.
She pivots to absolute chaos. She decides the absolute best use of her time is to drag her two coworkers, Geri and Rudy, out to meet a camboy named Sky. Sky was Trevor's partner on the website. And where does Paula schedule this incredibly sensitive meeting?
A Starbucks.
A public park at noon.
No.
No. An abandoned, rotting motel on the edge of town.
Babes, rule number 1 of true crime, never go to a secondary location.
Sure.
You are currently the prime suspect in a homicide investigation, and your brilliant strategy is to drive to a derelict motel to meet a stranger intimately connected to the victim. Why not do a Zoom call? Why not FaceTime?
Because Paula is operating entirely on adrenaline and delusion. It is maddening to watch, but the plot just accelerates at whiplash speed here. Paula gets to the motel, and she realizes this isn't just a spooky meeting spot. Trevor was secretly funding the renovation of this motel to turn it into student housing, and he was doing it using seed money stolen from Dennis.
Boom! The connection. That is exactly why Bree and Cecilia are so furious. Trevor was running fake kidnapping scenarios on his webcam to milk his viewers for cash, and he was taking the syndicate's money to build a real estate portfolio.
And as soon as Paula starts talking to Sky in this dusty, horrible motel room, her detective brain actually clicks. She looks at Sky's green eyes, she notices his teeth, she sees that he writes with his left hand. And Paula immediately identifies Sky as the masked man who tackled Trevor in that fake kidnapping video.
Which, honestly, good for Paula. She actually puts a clue together for once. But her moment of victory lasts about 3 seconds before Sky's partner, this woman named Ash, bursts out of the adjoining room holding a loaded handgun pointed directly at Paula's chest.
And this is where we witness the greatest display of the Dunning-Kruger effect in television history.
Wait, explain Dunning-Kruger for the babes who haven't been to therapy this week.
It's a psychological concept where people who are completely incompetent at something genuinely believe they are experts because they just don't know enough to realize how bad they are.
Oh, that is Ash and Sky perfectly.
Right. Ash and Sky had a tiny bit of luck scamming a few lonely guys out of $20 on a webcam site, so they suddenly think they are criminal masterminds capable of playing in the major leagues.
Exactly, because Paula, just trying to save her own life, blurts out that a man in mismatched Red Wing boots killed Trevor. Ash immediately realizes Paul is talking about Dennis. So what does Ash do? Does she call 911? Does she pack a bag and flee the country?
No.
No. Ash decides to extort the professional hitman.
It is amateur hour at the circus. Ash pulls out this cheap voice modulator, calls Dennis's phone, and says, "We have the witness to your murder." She demands $30,000.
Yeah.
And then, without Dennis even saying a word to negotiate, Ash gets nervous and immediately negotiates herself down.
I know.
She says, 30,000. Actually, 20. Just wire us 10,000 right now.
I was cackling. You are trying to blackmail a corporate assassin, and you literally give him a discount before he even speaks. It's pathetic. They are completely broke. Their money is tied up in this useless motel, and they are desperate. So their master plan is to get the 10,000, leave Paula tied to a chair in the motel, and let Dennis arrive to clean up.
They severely underestimated two things: Dennis's punctuality and Paula's absolute refusal to die in a budget motel.
Let's talk about the fight scene. Because Paula realizes she's about to be gift-wrapped for a serial killer. Her fight or flight kicks in, and babes, she chooses extreme violence.
It is the messiest, most chaotic, unchoreographed fight I have ever seen. It's not John Wick. It's a terrified, stressed-out mother grabbing whatever construction debris is within arm's reach.
She grabs a literal pneumatic nail gun that was left behind for the renovations, and she shoots it directly through Sky's hand, stapling him to the wooden floorboards.
The crunch sound effect when that happened. I spilled my drink. I physically leaped off my couch.
And then Ash charges at her with the real gun, and Paula reaches into her purse and pulls out a travel-sized can of dry shampoo.
Which Rudy had given her earlier in the episode for protection, basically as a joke.
Yes. She sprays the dry shampoo directly into Ash's eyes at point-blank range, completely blinding her. Ash drops the gun, Paula kicks it away, and she sprints out of the room. It is a gritty, DIY, MacGyver-style escape.
But we really need to pause and analyze the psychology of Paula in this moment. Because this fight leaves a profound mark on her character. She is no longer just a passive victim reacting to things happening around her. When she is backed into a corner, she is capable of inflicting severe, intentional pain. Stapling a man to the floor is not a light decision.
Okay, wait. Let's look at the bigger thematic commentary here. I was reading a blog recap that completely blew my mind. They pointed out that Paula is a woman in her late 30s. Her youth feels gone. Her marriage has collapsed into a bitter legal battle. The suburban moms judge her. She is drowning in mundane misery. And the blogger asked, is Paula subconsciously addicted to the adrenaline of this murder investigation?
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Society tells women that once they hit a certain age, they belong in the domestic sphere. They're supposed to quietly bake cookies and fight over custody schedules. Paula's life in that sphere is suffocating her, but hunting a killer, fighting for her life in a motel, it gives her agency.
That makes a lot of sense.
It makes her feel alive. She isn't waiting helplessly for a judge to rule on her future. She is firing a nail gun and taking control.
That is a staggering psychological read. She is choosing the visceral, immediate terror of a life-or-death struggle over the slow, bureaucratic heartbreak of losing her daughter. Because in a physical fight, she can actually win. In family court, she feels powerless.
Exactly. But her empowering, chaotic escape leaves an absolute nightmare in its wake. Because she leaves Sky immobilized, pinned to the floor by his own hand. And that is the exact moment the apex predator arrives.
Which brings us to the most horrifying sequence of the show. We need to talk about the execution of Sky.
Babes, trigger warning for anyone who is sensitive to sheer terror, because I had to watch this through my fingers. Dennis arrives at the motel practically the second he wires the $10,000 to Ash's account.
Ash is blinded from the dry shampoo, so she stumbles outside to pull their car around, planning to help Sky rip his hand off the floor and drive to the hospital. She leaves Sky alone, bleeding, and trapped in the room.
And Sky knows Dennis is out there. Sky manages to grab his gun with his free hand. He is staring at the bottom crack of the motel room door. And he sees a shadow. He sees the distinct outline of a pair of shoes standing right outside the door. Panicking, he unloads his gun, firing multiple shots straight through the wooden door, assuming he just killed Dennis.
But it's a fake out. Dennis is so far ahead of them. Dennis deliberately took his shoes off and placed them in front of the door to draw Sky's attention. While Sky is shooting at empty shoes, Dennis silently sneaks into the room through a completely different side entrance, coming up right behind Sky.
It is terrifyingly calculative. Dennis tackles Sky, instantly disarms him, and has total physical control. And this is where Dennis's character flaw is completely exposed, because Dennis is a professional assassin. He has a gun, he has knives, he could easily just snap Sky's neck and walk away clean.
But he doesn't. And we have to talk about the why. Because what Dennis chooses to do instead reveals a deep, sickening sadism. Dennis looks around the construction site, grabs a massive industrial can of expanding foam insulation, the kind you use to seal cracks in drywall, and he violently forces the nozzle into Sky's mouth and pulls the trigger.
I am hyperventilating remembering it. He fills Sky's throat and lungs with expanding foam. It is a slow, agonizing, suffocating execution. He literally seals the man from the inside out.
The Reddit forums were spiraling over this. People were calling it the most creative and anxiety-inducing television death of the decade. Someone posted that it unlocked a completely new fear of home renovation supplies.
And the absolute worst part, Ash is sitting in the car outside, and she is still connected to Sky on her cell phone. She hears the entire thing. She hears the scuffle, she hears the hiss of the foam can, and she hears the horrific, gurgling sounds of her partner dying, and she is completely helpless to stop it. It was giving major Scream opening scene vibes.
It emphasizes just how terrifying Dennis is. But analytically speaking, this scene proves why Bree and Cecilia were right to be worried. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Dennis is a massive liability to his own organization.
Yes, because Cecilia wants blue skies. She wants clean, quiet, untraceable blackmail. If you are running a shadowy syndicate, you want a hit to look like a sudden heart attack or an overdose or a standard robbery gone wrong.
Exactly. A professional minimizes the investigation. But
Right.
Dennis acts like a glitching algorithm. He is supposed to be a machine, but his ego and his sadism introduce a bug. Killing someone with expanding phone is highly theatrical. It is bizarre. It guarantees that the police will bring in forensics, the media will pick up the story, and the investigation will blow up. Dennis cannot help himself. His need to inflict theatrical pain completely overrides his corporate training.
And it's going to be his downfall. The syndicate is going to turn on him. But honestly, speaking of people who are practically begging to be arrested, we have to talk about Paula's actions after she escapes. Because the paranoia of the paper trail in the final act of this episode is insane.
Let's start with Paula's allies. Geri and Rudy were waiting in the car while Paula was inside fighting for her life. And Geri actually has a rare moment of brilliance.
She does. Geri gets out of the car, sees Ash stumbling out of the motel, and stealthily drops one of her AirPods into the back seat of Ash and Sky's car.
It's so smart. She turns her Apple product into a makeshift, untraceable GPS tracker.
Yeah.
Now they have a live location on Ash, who is currently fleeing the scene of a murder.
But Gary's loyalty is completely conditional because later that night, the camera cuts to Geri sitting in her dark apartment, typing furiously on her laptop. She is using all of the incredibly sensitive, traumatic, inside information she has learned from Paula to write a salacious, career-making true crime expose.
It's a massive betrayal, but we really should have seen it coming. Remember earlier in the car, Rudy was bragging about taking the LSAT and going to law school to make real money, and he completely condescended to Geri about her journalism degree.
Yes, he belittled her. So Geri is fueled by pure spite. She is going to prove Rudy wrong, and if she has to throw her traumatized coworker under the bus to get a front-page byline, she is going to do it. It just highlights how profoundly isolated Paula is. Her husband is destroying her, her lawyer is bleeding her dry, and her friends view her trauma as content.
And Paula is not helping her own case at all. Which brings us to the pawn shop.
Oh, I cannot. I physically cannot with the pawn shop.
We have to talk about it. Paula is desperate for that $10,000 retainer for her custody lawyer. So what does she do? During her fight with Sky, she physically ripped a thick gold chain off of his neck. After she escapes the motel, she drives straight to a brightly lit local pawn shop and sells the dead man's jewelry for $2,000 cash.
The reviewers were pulling their hair out. Babes, let's unpack the sheer stupidity of this decision. She was just at the scene of a brutal homicide. Her fingerprints and DNA are all over the nail gun, pinning the victim to the floor. And her immediate next step is to take the murder victim's jewelry, walk into a highly monitored pawn shop with CCTV cameras pointed directly at her face, and hand over her driver's license to sell it.
I call it a reverse heist. Most criminals spend hours wiping down surfaces, establishing alibis, and burning evidence. Paula is practically renting a billboard that says, "I was at the murder scene." She is leaving a glowing neon trail for the police.
And while she's holding the $2,000 cash, she leans over the counter and asks the pawn shop owner about purchasing a handgun.
It's a prosecutor's dream. Any detective who pulls that footage is going to immediately claim premeditation. And the detectives are getting closer. We see Detective Baxter sitting at his desk, ignoring the dramatic stuff and doing the boring, unglamorous paperwork. He is tracking the financial receipts for Trevor's construction supplies.
He tracks the lumber and drywall deliveries straight from the hardware store to the abandoned motel. The police are literally on their way to the fresh corpse.
It's the ultimate irony. Paula is running around having nail gun fights and spraying dry shampoo like an action hero, but it's a boring receipt for 2x4s that is going to bring the police right to the scene. And when they get there, they will find Sky, they will run the missing jewelry, they will find the pawn shop tape, and they will arrest Paula.
But wait, tell me if this makes sense. Will the $10,000 wire transfer be Paula's saving grace? Because Dennis wired 10 grand from his account to Ash's account minutes before the murder. Won't the police see that financial link and realize Dennis is the killer?
That is the one loose thread. If Baxter can trace that wire, it establishes a clear connection between Dennis and the victims. However, we just established Dennis is backed by a massive corporate syndicate. That wire transfer was definitely routed through 3 shell companies in the Caymans and heavily encrypted. It's not going to show up on a standard bank statement. Paula is in deep, deep trouble.
And as if that isn't enough, the episode hits us with one final, chilling cliffhanger. Paula walks out of the pawn shop with her cash, and the camera pans across the street. There is a mysterious man sitting in a parked car with a telephoto lens, taking rapid-fire photographs of Paula.
The identity of this watcher is driving me insane. There are two competing theories. Theory one is that this is a private investigator hired by Mallory.
Which makes perfect sense. Mallory needs to destroy Paula's character for the family court judge. If she gets photos of Paula pawning stolen gold and trying to buy a firearm, Paula loses custody of Hazel instantly, forever.
Exactly. But theory two is so much darker. Theory two is that this photographer works for Cecilia.
Oh my God.
Think about it. Bree told Dennis he was a liability. If the syndicate doesn't trust Dennis to clean up his own mess, they would absolutely send a secondary operative to monitor the situation. And if Dennis fails to eliminate the witness, this new guy is there to tie up the loose ends, namely Paula.
So Paula is either about to permanently lose her daughter to an evil stepmother, or she's about to be assassinated by a corporate hit squad. It is incredibly bleak.
It's a masterpiece of tension. Every single decision in this episode tightened the noose around Paula's neck.
Okay, babes, we need to process this trauma through our segments. It is time for the delusion stock market.
Let's look at the metrics. Every major character gets a stock rating. Buy immediately, hold, sell everything, or complete emotional bankruptcy. Who are you buying?
I am buying immediately on Mallory. I hate her, she's evil, but her stock is soaring. The magic card bribe, flawless execution. She is playing chess while everyone else is eating the checkers. Who are you holding?
I am placing a hold on Ash. Yes, extorting a hitman was the dumbest move of the century. But she survived. She has a $10,000 wire transfer, and the grease AirPod is in her car. She is blinded by dry shampoo, but she is still on the board. I'm holding to see if she flips on Dennis to save herself.
Good call. I am selling everything on Paula. I love her, but the pawn shop, the nail gun, leaving her DNA everywhere. Her stock has crashed. She is a massive liability to herself.
And complete emotional bankruptcy obviously goes to Dennis. He let his ego take over. The expanding foam execution was a horrific lack of discipline. His bosses are going to liquidate him.
Moving right along to our next segment, text them or block them. We take the biggest relationship moments and decide, send another text, double text, leave on read, soft block or hard block, and move to another country. Let's start with Paula reaching out to Carl for help.
Hard block and move to another country. Carl is sleeping with the enemy. He lied about the police interrogation. He is compromised. Cut the cord, Paula.
Totally agree. What about Ash trying to negotiate with Dennis?
Leave on read. Do not answer the phone. If a man in mismatched boots who just murdered your business partner answers the phone, you hang up, you throw the phone in the ocean, and you become a nun.
Okay, what about Paula trusting Geri?
Soft block. Geri is useful because she planted the AirPod, but she is actively writing a hit piece about Paula's trauma. Keep her close enough to use her tech skills, but do not tell her any more secrets.
The betrayal is so real. All right, next segment, Rich Ant Energy Rankings. We are awarding scores based on confidence, wardrobe, ability to give life advice, vacation potential, and likelihood of buying everyone champagne.
Mallory gets a 9 out of 10 for Rich Ant Energy. That cream trench coat at the comic book store was everything. She exudes confidence. She would definitely buy the champagne, but she would also quietly judge your outfit while you drank it.
True. Cecilia, even though we haven't seen her face, just hearing her name terrified. Dennis gets a 10 out of 10. She runs a multinational syndicate. Her vacation potential is definitely a private island with no extradition treaty.
Paula gets a 2 out of 10. Her wardrobe is currently covered in drywall dust and dry shampoo. She cannot buy champagne because she just pawned a dead man's necklace for lawyer fees.
Poor Paula. Finally, let's hit the Summer Chaos Index. We rate the major moments from beach read energy, happy hour chaos, vacation flirting, walking red flag, to maximum pleasure guaranteed.
The Yale blackmail scene. That is happy hour chaos. It's spicy, it's dramatic, it's Murray Bartlett in a suit ruining a corrupt admissions officer's life. I could sip a cocktail and watch that all day.
The motel fight with the nail gun, walking red flag. It is pure anxiety. It is messy, desperate, and heavily covered in tetanus.
And the expanding foam murder. That goes off the chart. That is maximum pleasure guaranteed for the true crime sickos, but for the rest of us, it is nightmare we will never unsee.
I am going to be checking under my doors for shoes for the rest of my life.
It was a monumental episode.
It really was. Babes, we have to wrap this up, but I need you to sound off in the comments. We have questions for the Snark Squad.
First, is the raspberry officially the fruit of the summer? Because I think we settled it, but we need the public vote.
Second, which of those confessions at the top of the show deserved the biggest side-eye? Was it the situationship barbecue crasher, the fermented milk roommate, or the Tinder boss?
Third, which segment today had you spiraling the most? Do you agree with our delusion stock market picks?
And most importantly, babes, what would your own shady, snarky, or stupid confession be? Drop them in the comments or slide into our DMs. We want all the mess.
Thank you all so much for listening and spiraling with us today.
Yes, thank you, babes. Remind yourselves to like, comment, subscribe, and please share this episode with another snarker who needs to hear this.
Stay flirty.
Stay fabulous, and we'll see you on the snark side.